Hello, YouTube family. We're back. I am very thankful that you're here. I have been really diving into over the last year meditation modalities to connect deeper to myself, connect deeper to source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And I was having a conversation with a client the other day, and I thought it would be really relevant and helpful to just explain not only my journey through finding these modalities and what it's really done for my life, but to actually go deeper into what we can really gain out of doing these things. Because I think that too often we look at these things, let's say meditation, journaling, being in nature, being in stillness, connecting to ourselves, we almost look at it as something to cross off of our to-do list, right? I talk about this all the time with certain clients where if we're going to meditating and we're doing it so that we can just say we did it, or so that we can just get on with the day or get on with all the things that we have to do, we're missing the point. And this was me for many, many months when I first discovered meditation, and a deeper level of meditation, I would say, that is a little bit more on the spectrum of Joe Dispenza's work, and really sinking into the quantum field, the unified field, whatever you resonate with. And maybe you don't even know about this, so I'm going to touch on it later in the video. But to really harness the energy that comes from a intentional practice when it comes to sitting with ourselves, meditating, whatever you choose to do in that realm. Because if we're going into it just trying to get through it, rushing through it, and thinking that it's kind of just, either a waste of our time or it's taking up our time or we have bigger, better, more interesting things to be doing, once again, we're not only missing the point, but we're really missing the benefits of what this kind of practice, can facilitate in our lives. And I wanted to share a little bit about my journey through meditation, because it was for sure a little bit of a roller coaster at first. And it wasn't until I fully surrendered to what it could actually bring me in my life that I finally started to actually connect with something higher than myself and something more powerful than just believing I'm just this human body having an experience. Like, I'm actually able to connect to something greater. I also recently just got this book, Ask and It Is Given, which is essentially all about learning how to really manifest your desires. It's about tuning in, it's about connecting to the universe, connecting to the frequencies, all the energies that surround us and are always available, which has changed my life. And I'm also going to dive into how it's changed my life. But just to give you some background, I would say I really started to get into meditation about a year ago. I have dabbled with guided meditation for maybe the last couple of years, but it wasn't until I really discovered Joe Dispenza's work, which, if you're familiar with Joe Dispenza, I'd love to hear what you think about him in the comments. He has really changed my life. And it's more just his philosophies and the way he kind of explains these things like the quantum field and our energy and how our thoughts are so powerful. And ultimately, that we are the creators of our life. Like, we are all divine beings. He really, I would say, was the facilitator of what led me down this path that I am on today. That, I come on here and I share a lot of his teachings that I've personally resonated with, or just things that I've personally done in my life when it comes to energy and frequency and operating from a place of what we want to call in to our life. So when I really started to dive into his meditations, at first I was using it as a way to just check it off the list. Okay, like, I meditated today, done, that's out of the way. And of course, I wasn't getting anything out of it. So once I finally surrendered to, like, okay, I need to be intentional about quieting down my animal body, which is something he refers to as, a lot of us are living on autopilot. A lot of us are living from a place of the familiar known, our body's running the shots, our body's like in these habits and routines, and we are just basically going with that flow. Like, we have taken a backseat to our life and we're no longer creating in our life because we're just used to doing the same old stuff. So our body just keeps, we keep dragging it around this physical world, and essentially we're asleep in that state, right? Like, we're not conscious, we're not aware of our thoughts, our energy, our patterns, the words that we even say. So when you really go and sit with a meditation of his, for example, to really be in your body and then to intentionally sink in to the present moment. And so when I started to actually do that, and when I started to learn a little bit more about the quantum field, the unified field, which, the way that Joe Dispenza describes it, I highly recommend going and looking it up. Energy all around us, it's blackness, it's consciousness, it's awareness. There's no there's nothing to see, there's no one to be, there's nowhere to be. It's interesting because when you think about it, it makes sense. When we think about the quantum field, we can't see it, right? It's we're in this 3D world where we see, physical items all around us. We're physical beings, we're 3D beings. And the quantum field is essentially something that exists all around us at all times, and it's just energy, right? So when we go into a meditation, we close down our eyes, really, it's a matter of feeling into the energy and the blackness and the void around you. And if this is something new to you, like it might sound kind of scary, it might sound kind of weird, it might be kind of hard to conceptualize. I know for me, it took me a little bit of just understanding the quantum field and what it is, and really like what the goal is of being in that space, which I'm going to explain in a little bit. But being in this place of the unknown, it is essentially connecting to everything around us. Like we are all connected, interwoven, and it's just in our separateness of like this physical world. Like I am separate to this bottle. That is where a lot of our suffering happens. So when we can connect into our meditation and go into that unified field space and just be open to it, open to the unknown and all the possibilities that exist there, we then realize and feel, like I can feel it in my body when I go into a meditation, how everything is connected. It's just all one. Everything is one. What this really allowed me to do in the beginning phases of my meditation journey, of deepening my relationship to self, to source, to like understanding the universe and the laws of attraction more, was it allowed me to slow down first and foremost, but then also to start trusting myself, trusting my own innate abilities and the divine timing that was coming into my life, and knowing that like even my intuition and my gut feelings were there for a reason. I think that is like the biggest thing that most people don't realize when they start a meditation practice, is like you are going to a place where you can now understand yourself better and connect deeper to yourself, and that is inevitably going to show up as you evolving into a more aligned version of yourself. This is also why I have found when people dive into this work, when people open up, their selves to the unknown, when they start meditating, connecting back to nature, connecting back to themselves, deepening their relationship with the universe, things happen, shifts happen where people will shoot out of your life who are no longer aligned with you, for example. Opportunities will come in or leave your life depending on if they're in alignment with you or not. And this is the part where we need to trust, because if someone leaves our life, we need to trust that that was exactly right, and they maybe either were there for a reason, or they were there for a certain chapter, they maybe taught us something or helped us heal in some way, and now the universe has said, okay, now this person is no longer in alignment with you, or the amount of growth you're receiving, the path you're going down to deeper alignment is in a different direction from this person, so it's okay that they exit your life essentially. And when you can view it this way, no matter what you think about, if it's a job leaving you, if it's an opportunity that ends up failing, or you get told no, or a relationship ends, or someone leaves your life, or whatever happens, now you can start to see those things as happening for you instead of to you. And this was the biggest shift I started to see, was that I was able to open up so much space and energy and capacity in my life when I started to trust and surrender. And this sometimes takes people, a little bit of time, because we're so used to being like white knuckled, trying to be in control with everything, trying to force everything in our life. But when we let go and surrender to the universe, it has a plan for us, and it will always do its best to bring us to our highest timeline. And sometimes we don't know what that highest timeline will be. This is why I always say there's no good or bad situation or scenario or thing that happens in your life, because you just don't know. I see quotes all the time around someone has a really shitty situation happen to them, and you think in the moment, wow, this sucks, why is this happening to me? But then down the road you realize, oh, that situation led me here, or it helped me meet this person, or it actually like helped me pivot my life in this way. And this happened to me so many times in my life, where I was either injured for a whole entire year, or I went through a breakup, or I moved back home into my parents' house, and all these things, while in the moment maybe my ego was like, ooh, this is bad, this means you're a failure, this means you're not worthy of XYZ. All this shame came from like a societal conditioning. when I was able to go into meditation and surrender and let go and really connect to a deeper source, a higher power, again, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates for you, I was then able to see, wait, this is happening for me. It's either teaching me something, it's either brought me to this other path that maybe I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And that is why we just can never know what's actually in our best interest, because we might see a perfect path for ourselves. We might see what we want. We have desires. We have this, like, perfect way that things could go about, but we actually don't know if that's where we would want to be. We don't know if that happens, if that's actually something that we would want to fully, live or be even feeling aligned with. So when things come into your life and when they're less than ideal, or you get thrown off course, or you get rejected or whatever, it's always leading you to the path that you're actually truly meant to be on. And this is one of the biggest things I have learned through meditation and also through Joe Dispenza's work, because it's always coming back to the unknown is scary, but that's where all possibilities exist. So when you're in meditation, when you're going within and you allow yourself to open up to that unified field, then also open up yourself to all the possibilities that could potentially reach you, that could potentially come into your life. And we're also trusting that it will happen in the way it's meant to happen. So not getting so caught up on the how, right? We might be wanting to manifest a relationship or a job or some kind of, physical event in our lives, but also sometimes, even though we're manifesting and we're operating from a place of like, yeah, I'm calling this in, firstly, we're always manifesting from our subconscious. So if we're not aware of subconscious patterns or thoughts or old, belief systems, sometimes that's why we're blocking ourselves and we don't even realize it. And two, letting go of the how. So the how is usually our logical mind, right? Like our brain wants to know how it's going to happen, what makes sense, how is this logically going to work? But the problem is then too, we're still in our logical mind. Like we can't create from that place. We have to step into the unknown. So when you let go of the how, then if you're calling in money or a relationship or whatever it is, you're letting go of the how and you're trusting that the universe is going to bring it in exactly in the way that it's meant to come in. And you're open to the possibilities of maybe things that you never thought possible. I always hear people talking about this when it comes to money, especially where sometimes we think, oh, I can only make money from one of two or three places, right? Like maybe from a job, or maybe from someone gifting us something, or maybe from winning the lottery. But in reality, like, what if we just received like a check in the mail from someone? What if we started working with a brand? What if we found $20 on the side of the road? Like, there are just so many possibilities that we close ourselves off to because we haven't surrendered the how. So we can be actively manifesting, meditating, calling things in, feeling supported by the universe. But if we're not tuned in to all the possibilities and all the ways that these things can come into our life, we're actually closing ourselves off to a lot of amazing opportunities. And one example that happened in my life was, for a really long time, I was operating from a place of fear and scarcity and lack. And so, of course, I was calling more of that in, right? Like attracts like. I have so many videos on this if you want to go watch, based on your energy, where your thoughts are, being where your thoughts are flowing is where your attention is going. And so that's where your energy is going to be going. So I've talked a lot about before of if we're in a scarcity, fear, lack mindset, we're projecting more of that into our reality. Whereas if we're operating from a love, abundance, and freedom mindset, we call in more of that. So over the last few months, I was getting really stuck in fear. I was taking a break from social media, taking a break from work, and I really had closed myself off to any potential possibilities of coming in. Luckily, I think I was still open enough to receive certain opportunities that came my way, and I was able to go to Mexico during this time, which completely shifted my energy. I was so tuned in there because I was intentionally going into my meditations, trusting the universe, being open to possibility, and just getting excited about how certain things could surprise me. And I started to get excited about how money could surprise me in particular. So I started like waking up every single day and saying, I am so excited to see how money surprises me today. And I'm so excited to see what the universe provides for me and how it supports me in really cool and fun ways. And genuinely feeling that in my body that the universe is going to provide. And I don't know how it's going to happen. And that's the fun part. And I kid you not, every single day when I was in Mexico, I was so tuned in on an energetic frequency vibrational level. Quick little location change, no big deal. My phone died on me, so here we are in a park. How fun. I wanted to finish this video by saying that essentially, just to reiterate again, when you're tuned in, amazing things happen to you. And I have been experimenting with this so much just simply for fun and to see what happens. And I feel like it's real. I'm curious if this is something that you're kind of stepping into, if you're new to manifestation, if you want to learn more about it, ask me any questions in the comments. I have been experiencing crazy, crazy shifts, and I've never been more present or connected in my life and just so filled with gratitude every single freaking day. If this resonates with you, if any of my videos speak to you, please subscribe because it helps me just get this message across even more. It helps me share insight, my own experiences, what I'm passionate about, and I'm hoping to just keep building this community up of wonderful human beings who are on similar journeys. Like we are just all looking for connection, for self-love, for something greater than us, and it's all within us, which is amazing. So, thank you for being here.